$40 trillion. They want you to feel that number in your chest. They want your hands on your phone, refreshing the feed, watching the yield move, waiting for the crash that may or may not come. And while you are frozen there, staring at a number so large it has no human meaning, the game is being played around you. You are not a participant in that game. You are the audience, and audiences do not win. This video is about how you stop being the audience. Here is the first thing you need to understand about yourself, and it is not comfortable. Your nervous system was not built for macroeconomics. It was built for fire, predators, and physical threat. When a number like 40 trillion crosses your screen with red graphics and alarmed anchors, your body does not know it is a statistic. It responds as if the threat is physical. Cortisol, tunnel vision, the urge to do something, anything, immediately. That response is the pawn state. That is the mechanism by which most people lose. Not because the debt crisis destroys them directly, but because the panic it produces makes them sell at the wrong time, freeze when they should act, and waste the next 6 months of mental energy on something they cannot personally move by a single dollar. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journals, never released for public consumption, never meant to be read. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That is not a soft affirmation. That is a disciplined operational rule written by a man governing an empire while plague killed 1/3 of his population and wars pressed on every border. He was not telling himself to feel better. He was telling himself to stay functional, strategic, and clear when every headline of his era was catastrophic. The discipline to separate what you can govern from what you cannot is not a virtue in the abstract. It is the foundational operating system of anyone who actually moves effectively in the world. So let us be clear-eyed about the outer game. Stop. Look at what is actually happening. The U.S. public debt has crossed $40 trillion, and the Treasury Department is now announcing buybacks of long-dated debt to stabilize yields. What does that mean in plain terms? The government is buying its own debt to push long-term interest rates down because those rates have been causing stress in everything from mortgages to corporate borrowing to the valuation of equities. This is not a secret conspiracy. It is a public policy maneuver executed in daylight, and the people in that system know exactly what they are doing. They are managing a structural problem with a structural lever. Whether that lever works long-term is genuinely uncertain. Whether your panicked reaction to it helps you in any way is not uncertain at all. It does not. Now here is the Machiavellian read, the part most commentators will not give you plainly. The noise around this story is not accidental. Markets, media, and political actors all have incentives that are tied to your emotional reaction. Fear drives clicks, volume, and engagement. Volatility creates trading revenue. Political actors use fiscal alarm to push agendas. None of these actors need you to be calm. They need you reactive. The pawn in this game is the person who consumes the alarm and then acts on emotion, sells assets in a panic, pulls back from long-term positions, or conversely makes wild speculative bets because the world feels like it is ending. Both of those moves are gifts to the players who have positioned themselves before the noise started. You are being played right now if your primary response to this story is emotional. Machiavelli understood that power concentrates around those who can read the game without being moved by it. The prince who panics at every rumor of war is the prince who gets deposed in the confusion. The sovereign who reads the structural reality, identifies what actually changes for him personally, and positions accordingly, that is the person who builds domain while others scatter. Your job right now is not to solve the national debt. Your job is to identify the specific concrete ways this macro environment touches your actual life, your actual money, your actual options, and then make deliberate moves on those specific variables. Here is the strategic framework. 3 moves: simple, executable, and grounded in what is actually in your control. First move: audit your exposure to rate sensitivity right now. Rising or volatile long-term yields have a direct effect on mortgages, auto loans, and any variable rate debt you are carrying. This is the one place where a macro event touches your personal balance sheet in a concrete and near-term way. If you are carrying high-interest variable debt, this environment is your signal to accelerate repayment or restructure into fixed rates while you can. If you are planning a major purchase that requires financing, this is the environment where delaying and building cash leverage is smarter than moving on emotion either direction. The sovereign does not wait for the market to hand him certainty. He audits his actual exposure and makes a specific decision. Do that this week, not this month, this week. Second move: build your personal liquidity buffer with intention. In high volatility macro environments, the asset most people undervalue is optionality. Cash in your control means you can act when others are forced to react. High-yield savings and short-duration instruments are currently paying real rates that, even accounting for inflation, give you a meaningful return while you hold your options open. This is not sophisticated, it is disciplined. The person who enters a chaotic period with 6 months of liquid reserves makes different decisions than the person who is 1 month from being forced to sell something at the wrong time. Financial sovereignty begins with the discipline to hold that buffer even when markets are up and the temptation is to deploy everything. Third move: stop managing your portfolio with your emotional state and start managing it with a written rule. Never do this. Never make a financial decision in the same session you consumed alarming news about it. That is the rule. Write it down. Put it somewhere you will see it. Your future decisions are made today, in a calm moment, with a written framework. Your allocation, your rebalancing triggers, your criteria for adding or reducing a position. When the noise gets loud, that framework makes the decision, not the cortisol. This is the Stoic principle of pre-commitment. The Stoics called it preparing for adversity before it arrives, so that when the storm comes, the response is already chosen. Your financial framework is that preparation. Without it, every loud macro event is an invitation to be played. Here is what $40 trillion actually is, stripped of the panic. It is a structural long-term challenge being managed by institutions with enormous resources and deep interest in preventing a collapse of the system they operate within. It may produce consequences over years or decades. Some of those consequences will create opportunities. Some will create headwinds. The sovereign tracks them, adjusts his position as the landscape shifts and keeps building. The pawn watches the number on the screen and either freezes or flails. You are not here to solve the debt. You are here to build your domain inside a world that will always have problems larger than any individual. Epictetus, who was born a slave and became one of the most formidable minds in history, understood that the external world offers no safe conditions. There are no safe conditions. There is only the quality of your own governance under the conditions that exist. Debt at 40 trillion, wars on the border, plague in the empire. The form changes. The game does not. The person who masters themselves first reads the outer game clearly second and makes deliberate moves third. That person rises through every environment, including this one. You came to this channel because something in you is done being a pawn, done reacting to whatever the screen puts in front of you, done letting external noise run your internal world and through it your external results. That is the first step, recognizing that the game exists and that you have been in it without choosing to be. The next step is building the discipline and the strategic clarity to play it on your own terms. That is what STOLVEX is built for. If you are ready to keep building that, subscribe and join the STOLVEX newsletter. Every week, one principle and one move. No noise, no hype, pure sovereign fuel. The link is in the description. The work continues.